Thank you, Cian Corla. I'd like to thank and congratulate Deputy Collins for bringing forward this motion at this time. It's an important motion. We can sometimes forget when we're talking about water charges and a lot of other important things that there's over 160,000 mortgages in arrears in the country. 160,000 mortgages in arrears in a country the size of Ireland. That means that 500,000 men, women and children in Ireland, 500,000 are living in homes that are in arrears. And that doesn't include the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands more who are struggling to stay out of arrears. And it doesn't include the very many more who have been restructured or so-called restructured and are not in arrears. There is a huge number of men, women and children, years into this crisis, living in these homes. Let me give you an example of one. I met a couple this week. They're close to retirement. He's had to give up work for health reasons. She works on the minimum wage, has done all her life. They live in Blessington. Now, their home is in arrears, and their bank has moved for possession of the house. Now, the house is in equity. It's not in a lot of equity, but it's in a certain amount of equity. Because of the shambles that is the mortgage to rent scheme, they can't avail of it because their house is in equity, even though they should be in it. Now, if this couple were fortunate enough to have banked with AIB during the bubble, what would happen? AIB would come in and say, we've just introduced a split mortgage product for positive equity. You pass the tests, so we're going to give you a split mortgage. We're going to apply 0% on the warehouse portion, and when you both reach retirement age, we're going to do a debt for equity swap. We're going to take equity in your house and we're going to bring the remainder of your mortgage payment down to something that you can pay through retirement and live and retire in dignity. And when that couple pass away, AIB would take the home or the amount of the home that was needed. But this couple bank with Bank of Ireland. So here's what's happening instead. Bank of Ireland is going to evict them. Bank of Ireland has already brought them to court, and Bank of Ireland is refusing to do anything that would keep these people in their houses. Because Bank of Ireland doesn't have a split mortgage product where there's equity in the house, and even where it does, it charges interest on the shelf portion, so it wouldn't work anyway. And Bank of Ireland doesn't have a debt for equity solution at retirement. So here's what is about to happen. This couple, in about 3 months, are going to be pulled back into a court in Wicklow. The judge is going to grant possession of their house. The sheriffs are going to come along and kick them out of their house. They're going to have a small amount of money left. Bank of Ireland, by the way, will take about another 10 grand off them for legal fees, for having the audacity to have forced Bank of Ireland to hire lawyers to bring them to court to kick them out of their house. And when they won't get rent allowance from the state, because the council will say, sorry, you have savings, so you don't qualify for any of that. So go and spend the little bit of residual you have from your eviction on rent. And in 2 or 3 years' time, when all that money's gone, they're going to show up at Wicklow County Council offices and say, hi, we are 2 retirees, we have very little income, we have no savings left, and we are now homeless. And Wicklow County Council is going to say to them, well, we've got no house for you. And they're going to come into my office and say, we're still homeless. So that's what's going to happen, because this couple bank with Bank of Ireland and not AIB. And I'm not here to cheerlead for AIB. AIB have done some good things and they've done some bad things. The point is this. The government's approach from day one has been, this needs to be resolved on a case-by-case basis. It's not up to us, the government, to interfere in the banking market. Well, it is when they need 64 billion euro of taxpayers' money, but it's not when we need to protect people like this. So we, the government, don't care. We don't care. We don't care that these people are going to be evicted. We don't care that other people in the country in exactly the same position won't be evicted because they banked with another bank. We don't care because we don't feel it is right and proper to interfere in how the banks work. So we can talk about the CCMA, which is an entirely voluntary code, by the way. I've heard ministers who should know better state that it is a mandatory code. Nonsense. I'm sorry, I haven't even gone near my speech. But at the heart of the matter, Ken Corlett, and I will finish, is this, that this type of thing is happening every day. And there are 500,000 men, women and children in these houses, and the reason this is still going on in Ireland, unlike any country on earth, is because the government continues to say, we don't care, let the banks sort it out themselves. And the only way that is going to change, and this is the very last thing I'll say, the only way this is going to change is if the decision maker in government at this point is changed, because he is calling the shots. Thank you, Ken Corlett.